Hey everyone, so for my experiment, I took on the ultimate challenge of how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. So let's begin. Uh, actually, who am I kidding? I was looking at the packet and I saw that there was a proposed, not inquiry, there was a proposed already 250 licks done by studies at universities that it takes 250 licks to actually get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. So, after looking up null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis, I realized that the null hypothesis was the proposed 250 licks, whereas my alternate hypothesis was my own hypothesis, which I believe that it takes more than 250 licks to reach the center of the Tootsie Pop. So, for this experiment, I decided to use my yearbook class because there's 14 of us, and I would just split two groups, 7-7, and I would have a control group and my experimental group. So in my control group, I had them actually stop at 250 licks, and in my experimental group, I had them go past 250 licks if necessary to reach the center of the Tootsie Pop. And then from there, I would compare the results and see if, or whichever side, I guess, how many licks it really takes to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. Anywho, so during the experiment, I decided to label 14 slips of paper in blue and red, whereas the red would be all even numbers and the blue would be odd numbers. And my blue group would be my experimental group, and my red group would be my control group. So, with this being, it made it easier to just really compare both sides, because I had an evenly distributed control red group where they stopped at their 250th lick, and then I had the other evenly distributed experimental group, the blue group, and they're the ones who actually had to pass their 250th mark if necessary to reach the center of the Tootsie Pop. So when the experiment actually came around, I didn't use a block day, which I probably should have, but I didn't. I used one of the 1 hour periods, and here's what happened.
I'm test recording you. Turn around and say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
Alright, this is test run. Caitlin, test run. Gage. No Gage?
Huh?
No Gage?
Picture me, didn't you?
Yeah, but I'm gonna record you eating the candy.
You're gonna record me?
I'm recording you as we
It's a
speak.
lot of pressure.
Just do. Alright. I'm gonna be a creep. Can you lick the lollipop? And then show me your guys' progress. Amanda, I'm gonna zoom in. Thank you.
So after the experiment, luckily everyone was able to complete their task, whether it was stopping at 250 or going past 250. But I noticed some of the problems, which one of them was I didn't have enough time. Not necessarily, it was more of the fact that some of them actually had a rush, especially those passing 250 licks, while others were not enjoying their flavors. And I had a feeling they weren't really taking this project so seriously. So, with those two factors being, I kind of concluded that maybe if I would have done this during a block day or some sort of time period where there wasn't a time limit and everyone actually did get their first choice in a Tootsie Pop flavor, thus everyone would be happy. I think everybody would give me, or at least I would get more, you could say, natural results rather than skewed ones because they were either rushing or because they really didn't like the flavor they got. But anywho, after the experiment, based on the data, the red group, yeah, they did not need. Actually, they needed more than 250 licks to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, so they all kind of failed at that, but not really. And the blue group, they actually had a variety of recorded licks needed to reach the center of the Tootsie Pop. So, of the group, my highest recorded was 1,113, and my lowest was actually 720 licks, which overall, after calculating the 7 scores, I got an average of 731 licks, which far surpasses the proposed 250 licks needed to reach the center of the Tootsie Pop. So, based on the yielded results, my p-value for the experiment was 0.5 for the two groups that either stopped or surpassed the 250 licks. With this being, I can say that my data is statistically significant and I can reject the null hypothesis of the proposed 250 licks to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop in favor of the alternate hypothesis that it takes more than 250 licks to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. So, with all of this said and done, I think after going through this experiment, even though there were some minor problems regarding time and flavors, I think it's safe to say that if you really do want to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, you're going to need more than 250 licks. Uh, Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. If not, look, end credits.